So again, we're looking at observed behavior and we're returning to boxing. Again, this time how boxers take a punch, what happens to their body, how that message gets sent from a point of contact through the body, through the nervous system, may result in wobbly legs or a leg flipping out or arms dropping or heads moving, stomachs contracting, that type of thing. And we're looking at that and trying to replicate some of those moves. So I've asked them to do 5 moves each. They don't have to tell a story. Again, really important not to tell the story. Just those 5 moves, and then they're going to teach each other the 5 moves so that together we have a string of 10 moves. Once they've taught each other that string of material, they will then work to get it faster, tighter. You will notice that it's put together in sections. You'll see individual moves. Ultimately, you want to push to see whether you can get rid of the punctuation that exists in that sentence. You want to try and find a little bit of fluidity without losing the detail. Now they are taking turns in teaching each other their moves. The thing to look out for here is when you're teaching and when you're learning, you can get caught in a trap of mirroring. So you're not actually copying them exactly. You're copying an opposite version. So just be careful when you look around the room. Watch out for students who are facing the person who's teaching them and they're actually mirroring. This takes a bit of patience. This takes time, and detail is everything here. So be persistent and make sure they are absolutely aware of what their body is doing, and it's not just a rough approximation. So we've taken a slightly different approach and we're looking at the impact. So we've been looking at boxing, but specifically the impact and how that affects the boxer's body. So being hit up here doesn't just mean the head does that. It can mean there's an electric current that goes down the body that sends the legs out or sends the hands up, or all these little twists. If you take the boxing gloves out of it, take the stance out of it, you've got these amazing shapes that these boxers are getting into. And you just need to look at the footage through a different lens to see that. We've put a string of material together. At the moment, they've created 5 each, put them together into 10, and we're going to perform them just simply, but fast. You're looking for unison all of the time. Unison is really difficult because you train your audience just to see mistakes, unfortunately. So you have to work really hard at unison. But that's a really good solid building block to then play with. And again, we use the presumptions. We don't have to be doing this at this pace. What if we slow this right down? Okay? And also, what if you're not both facing each other? Let's see, turn your back to back. Now just be very careful. I'm going to move you just up here a little bit so you're on that angle there, okay? Nice and slow, very, very slowly. I want you to go through it again. One little change and they've forgotten everything, and that's very common. That's fine, just go back again. The other thing they did was they totally went to match each other. Even though they started facing the opposite direction, they ended up facing the same direction. Let's actually both try it facing forwards. So let's not overcomplicate it, but nice and slow. Good, good, very nice. It can be much slower. And when we do it slower, we have to really fight for the articulation. By that I mean your hands moving forward, and then it has to come from there. And we need to see that and that tension and how the movement of your head brings the rest of your body along, okay? Slow, slow, slow. That's it, well done, keep in time with each other. Keep telling me where the impact is. Where's the dynamic coming from? lovely. Well done, well done. Okay, I'm going to change this up a little bit, and I'm going to work with one performer, and again, really challenging the dynamic that we have created here. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to put these on, but if you hold that for a second. I like to use a really lovely piece of music here that just goes against all of that brutal bang, bang, bang that we started with. Can you put the headphones on? And you're going to close your eyes. And you're not going to open your eyes, and you're going to go through all of that material, holding onto the phone, nice and steady. The reason why this is really useful is all of that choreographic process began looking at an external impetus, and then we captured that external impetus and we performed it as an external impetus. All of the movement came from impact. This little shift now, where we changed the dynamic and then put the headphones on and gave them the phone, it changed the way we received it. We then start to see it as an internal impetus. It becomes about an emotional state rather than a physical impact that makes us move, because it draws us, the audience, much closer to the subject. The other really important thing about mixing this process up is reminding yourself, just because you've been looking at boxing as a source doesn't mean you have to make a scene about boxing. It's not about choreographing boxing scenes. You're just using that physicality. And we unearthed an inner emotional state. We also found a level of performance within our student that was intimate. It was sensuous. It might have unearthed the type of choreography that could have been awkward to try and achieve head on. You wouldn't necessarily want to ask someone to move in that way. They wouldn't necessarily feel that comfortable. But what we've done is taken what we call the crooked path. So you go on a slightly longer route to find that quality. And in doing so, you can apply that to any kind of emotional state. You can explore characters, you can explore situations, but it's a very sensitive and complex thing. It doesn't have to be about the source material. You've got much more freedom than that.